Launches down the middle. Hill. Open. Caught. And they get it. Kansas City. The big play.
Starting to get warmer on the field, and the players are starting to feel it.
Starting to get warmer up here.
It sure is.
Vinatieri. Kick goes to Desmond Howard at the 1. Desmond Howard is off. You better turn it on or he's gone. Desmond Howard all the way into the Patriot end zone. As soon as they get back in it, Green Bay takes it away. 99 yards.
Lynch in the backfield. Russell looks, throws inside. Oh my God! It's picked off at the goal line. It's picked off by God Butler. Intended for Lockett at the goal line. Oh my word! With 20 seconds left.
Washington outside left. Roethlisberger has time. Throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
Unbelievable.
Incredible.
This would be from 48 yards out.
And this has been a year about Vinatieri and making some great kicks against the Raiders. Two of the greatest kicks that I've ever seen in my life.
Here comes one of greater importance if he makes it. And it's right down the pipe.
Then he pivots, fakes, chucks the big bomb halfway down the field to our hopefully still wide open tailback. I call it the annexation of Puerto Rico.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to APR. Man, listening to that intro, Eddie, it always almost brings a tear to my eye, to be honest, man.
Yeah, then it pisses me off.
Well, it pissed me off too, man. I put the Santonio Holmes touchdown in there. You know what I mean? I figured if Vinatieri we were gonna put a clip of Vinatieri making a kick, might as well put my team that had one of the biggest heartbreakers too. So yeah, you know, it is what it is.
That's what she said.
But man, what's up, man? Everybody, welcome to APR. I'm your host, Jordan. Stacks on Stacks on Stacks Lats. That's my man, Mr. Steady Eddie Raider Eddie Martin. Man, we are being brought to you via Tavour. Make sure to go to Tavour.com or download the Tavour app straight to your mobile device and use promo code Taproom for $10 off your first purchase of $25 or more.
Let's go, y'all.
How you doing tonight, Eddie?
Yeah, man, chilling.
I said, I'm chilling.
Just ready, dude. We got like the NFL draft coming up, wide receiver. And I didn't think I'd get to say this, but I just got to watch Tiger Woods play 18 at the Masters again. Which
Played
is
well
dope.
too.
So, yeah, played smart, which is what you got to do out there. So
He always plays smart though.
yeah, well, I mean, when he was younger, he just outdrove everyone, so he didn't have to. But now that he's aged and everyone can still hit the ball, you know, just as far, if not further. Now he just knows the course, though, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably like wakes up in the morning,
He's won
and
five.
see like
He's won 5
Yeah.
Masters, dude. So
he's probably got like carpet in his fucking kitchen laid out like the 16th green and shit. So.
yeah, man, it's been awesome. I have a wager for him to make the cut, so it's looking good, man. But
Nice.
you just gotta hope that his back and his leg hold up over the weekend.
Right.
It sounds weird with golf, but
I know, right? And I'm pushing for Harold Varner the third, dude. I got him at plus 25,000, and he's -1.
oh,
He went 4 under on the back 9, dude. Hopefully that momentum just carries him through, dude.
3 more days though.
I know.
That shit is it's never easy to play that well for 4 straight days. It's very difficult.
Right.
So we'll see. But man, best of luck to you getting 25,000 to 1 odds, dude. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible stuff, dude.
It's crazy, but
It would be insane if he won. But we're here to talk football, Eddie. That's what we're here to talk. And we had a little bit of news drop. But before we get into that, I do want to mention that we are going to be having on Chris Ransom from Draft Utopia. Not next Thursday, but Thursday the 21st. We're going to be doing our draft preview show. And then we're also going to be doing a live draft show as well on the Thursday of the draft, which is the 28th, live from the NFL draft. Well, we'll be separate, but the draft will be going on just like we did last year. We did a little something. If you guys missed it, it was a ton of fun. Eddie wasn't there, but he's gonna be there this year. And last year was man, it was a lot of laughs, honestly, a good time on the first round, man. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But let's talk about some news that broke this week, Eddie. So on Monday, and it's funny because I was actually at the sports book when this news broke, which was kind of funny. But the Saints and Eagles agreed to a trade, which is basically swapping a ton of picks. So the Saints receive 2 of the Eagles' first-round picks this year in exchange for their first-round pick this year and their first-round pick next year. Right?
Right.
Is that right?
And like a second rounder, I think, in there too, or something like that.
Yeah, they received 16 and 19 and a 2022 6th-round pick, while the Eagles received 2022 first-round pick number 18, and then a 2023 first-round pick, a 2024 second-round pick, plus a 2022 third-round pick number 101, and a 7th-round selection, which is
whatever
7th round, but it's basically a throw-in. But interesting trade here, and I have a theory about why the Eagles did this. What's your thoughts on what happened with this trade and who it benefits, who won the trade?
To be honest, I'd love to hear your theory, because to me it makes a sense for the Saints in the regard of like they know that they need a lot of young talent. You know, they need to fill a roster basically because they're so far over the cap. So
well, they still have a lot of good players left though.
Yeah. I mean, but again, they don't have the money to go out and get anybody, so they need to fill the roster with the young talent. So I get that. The Eagles, you get picks for next year,
when
which
you're at the top of your game, people will hear about it. And when your small business
we
goes
got
global,
an ad popping up
UPS
here.
Our international shipping
I'm,
is so
I'm
easy.
not at the top of my game at the moment, apparently. Yeah, I'm not full. Unless I don't know what the Eagles are. You said you had a theory on the Eagles. So I'd like to hear it, because I don't really know.
So my theory on the Eagles is they still get 2 first-round picks this year. They still have 2 firsts. You know what I mean? They had 4 first-rounders. They trade 2. They get more picks. But most importantly, they get another pick in the first round next year, which should have a better quarterback class. And this is a team where I think they're positioning themselves to get a better quarterback. I think they're going to go into this year with Jalen Hurts. And then if Jalen Hurts isn't that dude, they're like, okay, well, we have enough first rounders that we can move off him and get a better quarterback in next year's draft. Because next year's draft has CJ Stroud and it has Bryce Young. So you have two high level quarterbacks. Definitely they would go the first 2 quarterbacks this year too. So it allows them to have that ability and flexibility, because even then, like, let's say Jalen Hurts does improve as a passer and is that guy. Well, then they can take those picks and trade them for even more picks and just add more talent around them. So I think it only benefits the Eagles in the long run. And trust me, like, I think the Eagles are going to be a good team this year, but I still think they have a lot of holes. They have a lot of holes on defense that they need to fix. And then they also need to add some wide receiver talent and maybe some offensive line. And this is a deep draft with both of those things. And you still have 2 first-round picks.
Yeah. That's so on the Eagles side. And another plus too is like, we don't really know what the Saints will be, right? So if you're getting the Saints pick next year, like they can go
that could be a top 10 pick.
13. Yeah, 4 and 13.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
I watched Dennis Allen coach live for like 2 years, dude. It's a disaster.
Well, they also have no wide receivers.
Right. Michael Thomas never plays.
They lose Armstead, their left tackle, so they need to replace him. And then their defense is only getting a year older. And Marshawn Lattimore retires.
Busted knee.
Yeah. So who knows? Like, that could very well be a top 10 pick next year.
Yeah. And then, like you said, like, it's kind of like a win-win, right? Because if Hurst does come out and ball out and improves on his accuracy, because really, like, I think the biggest like downfall for him was his down the field accuracy. I think we can all agree on that, right? But so he improves that just a little bit. Maybe he plays better. You know what I'm saying? Like they keep him and then they just add more talent around him with the picks. Or like you said, you could trade that pick away, especially if it's a top 10 pick. You know,
Trade
you
it for
can
more
get a
picks.
massive amount of fucking picks after that. So
Yep.
that on the Eagle side, it makes sense. On the Saints side, I think it's very short sighted, but it does make sense for them.
Well, the thing
Like
with them being short sighted though is it makes sense because you said like they're over the cap and
Right.
they're in a bad situation, but they still have talent. You know what I mean? Like that's not a bad team per se.
Right.
And you know you get 2 first round picks and you could add 2 starters right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I understand why the Saints are doing it. I just think it's only delaying the inevitable even more.
Right. I don't think they're going to be very good this year. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I still don't think the Saints are going to be worth a damn, really, you know? So when they trade their pick for next year, it's like, what are you doing? Like, that's
Yeah.
going to be a pick you need, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Not very well
But,
could be.
but you know,
I mean, I
again,
agree. I totally agree with you, dude. I don't think the Saints are going to be good, but I understand why they're making that trade.
yeah,
You know
I
what I
get
mean?
it. But like something that I wanted to like bring up with you is like, do you think that teams that are trying to go all in and trading all their picks is good for the NFL, or is
Yeah,
it like,
I think it's
dude,
great.
100%, I agree. I agree
100%.
100%.
I think that it is a great thing because I think we're in an age where, um, like, all right, so the sport's always evolving, right? Like sports are always evolving, and you know we never know like what the next trend is going to be, right?
Right.
And there was a trend that was started where it was like build your team around a young quarterback because you can add more and spend money elsewhere. And the quarterback is the most important piece. So if you get a great
Right.
quarterback on a rookie deal, you can build your team like you could put a mass amount of talent around it, right? Well, number one, hitting a good young quarterback isn't as easy as it seems, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could get a top 5 pick and hit the wrong quarterback, and then you're screwed, right?
Yeah.
So I understand the
100%.
strategy. I think the best strategy is you find a quarterback. First of all, you could find him in free agency. You could find him in the draft. I mean, Russell Wilson was a 3rd round draft pick, right? Like, how many great quarterbacks are not 1st round draft picks? There's a lot of them. So
I'd
it's really
agree.
identifying a good quarterback, and then building a team. Or what you can do is get a ton of talent on defense and then just sign an older, like, journeyman quarterback who's not going to turn the ball over a ton, and you can win that way too. Now, this is why I think the Broncos are going to struggle a little bit, is because they went with that ladder strategy, right, where they brought in Teddy Bridgewater, who doesn't turn the ball over, and they still stunk.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're really hoping Russell Wilson is that same Russell Wilson. Now, in the terms of trading multiple draft picks, the Rams, they identified Matthew Stafford. They got him in a trade for cheap, right? Because they found a team that was willing to rebuild in Detroit. And then they're like, okay, well, why hang on to these 1st round picks? Like, let's go get some top level guys. And then they go out and get a fucking Hall of Fame cornerback, a Hall of Fame linebacker, pass rusher, etc., wide receiver. Like, they build up around him as a veteran, a guy you already
Right.
know what he's going to give you. But that's not as easy as it is either. So
Right.
I really
Is
think
he going to be the same?
I think it really depends on where your team is at, you know? Like, because if you have a great quarterback, you got to pay him. You got to.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like, how do you
And-
build around that?
Yeah, and on top of that too, like if you're trading, like that Stafford example is like the perfect example of my point. It's like you trade him to the Lions, right? The Lions are trying to improve. Like big name free agents aren't going to go to the Lions to help them improve, right? Like, I mean, look what Christian Kirk got paid in Jacksonville, right? And he's Christian Kirk, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's fine,
He's
but he ain't an
decent.
$84 million fucking receiver. You know what I'm saying? But you got to pay the tax because your team stinks,
But
right?
I think building you can't get too, like, you can't build only through free agency and you can't build only through the draft. Like, there
Right.
needs
I
to be
think
a
you can
mixture.
Yeah, I think you can only build in free agency if you have an established, talented team, like the
Yeah.
Rams, or
Well,
just a
remember
team
when
that's
the Eagles
already
tried to
built.
do that though, and they had like the quote unquote dream team, and they fucking sucked.
Yeah, I mean it just like either like I don't know, like in my opinion, I think these good teams that are trading their draft picks to get talented players only benefits the shitty teams in the league right now. And then those teams will then get better. And in like 2 or 3 years when their talent, if they make the right decisions, obviously it's not a guarantee that you're going to draft hits every time, but
Yeah.
you draft these guys, you build up these guys, whatever the case is, then those like bottom feeder teams in a few years can be good, and then that's only good for the NFL.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like
I
to
think that's
have
the
every
interesting
team
point
be
about
good.
the Saints, and I think that tells you like because I feel like teams that end up sucking for a long time, like they get caught up in an area where they're okay, we're good enough to compete, right? So they like hang on and they try to sustain that team that they have that just competes, right?
Mhm.
And then in the long run it ends up failing, right? Whereas they could
Right.
trade off good pieces and get more draft picks and build younger and then establish a good team that way.
Yeah.
And then
There's got to be a good mixture
there's got to be a
of the two,
balance.
right?
Yeah, there's got to be a
Yeah.
balance, dude. And
Like I
there's a
think
lot
you
of
have to
luck involved
use
too, to be honest.
100%. Like Brady being Brady, right? Like,
6th-round pick, dude. Like
right.
who would
Russell
have ever
Wilson,
thought
even
that?
like you brought him up earlier, third rounder, and now he turned into what he was for Seattle or whatever. But like I think it's like a roller coaster, if you will, in the sense
Yep.
of like you have to start young and start at the bottom, because all these teams did, like even like Seattle back in the day, they didn't sign the Legion of Boom.
How they
They
drafted him.
drafted those guys. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So like you built up through the draft,
But then they
and then they got
traded
to a
for
point.
Marshawn Lynch, right?
Right. Then they brought in Marshawn Lynch. You traded picks for Marshawn Lynch, and then that made, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yep.
that's like a prime example of how you build a team now.
Yep.
Like how you should build the team, how the NFL should work. And then there's teams like the Rams that are just like, hey, we're hella fucking good, so let's just keep adding on top of that because we only have a window of maybe 2 more years.
But then in the long run, it hurts them because then they don't have like they're not refilling their team with good draft picks
Right.
unless they're
And then
they're constantly hitting 4th, 5th, 6th-round picks,
Right.
which in the NFL is a lot easier, dude. Like because a lot of these guys are undrafted, that end
Right.
up being good. So
Right. And then you got then that's what you're seeing with the Saints right now. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they did this exact thing. They built up, built around Drew Brees, which I think is a completely smart. You know what I mean? They
Yep.
did a lot of things to like help their quarterback, which is what you need to do. Like,
Yep.
and instead of being the fucking Packers who like don't help Aaron Rodgers at all. and draft
well,
Jordan
I
Love.
mean, dude, to be honest, like, I mean, this is a different conversation, but like, I think Marquez Valdez Scantling is a good player, dude. Like, I think he's gonna do just fine on the Chiefs, and I think people are gonna look at Aaron Rodgers and be like, well, why can't Rodgers do this? You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe he could be.
Rodgers is a great player, dude. Don't get me wrong, dude, but he is like he only throws to like who he absolutely trusts.
Right.
And sometimes he doesn't even throw to Devontae Adams because you don't even trust him. Like that third down play where Devontae Adams was wide open and motherfucker held onto the ball way too long, ended up having just to throw it away. That's here nor there, but I do think that the Packers did something. I mean, they drafted A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon's dope.
When they had Aaron Jones.
Yeah, but I'd rather have A.J. Dillon in that kind of weather.
Well, me too. I agree. But like they never drafted it. The last first round receiver they took, dude, was fucking Javon Walker in like 2001 or some
Yeah,
shit.
but
Like, hella
sometimes
back in the day.
sometimes first round pick receivers end up fucking stinking it up. Jalen Reagor is like decent. Like, I mean, they're all
I'm just
it's all
saying,
hit or
like,
miss, dude. At the end of the day, like
yeah, sure, but like they still didn't draft a fucking receiver to help them when they needed receivers the whole time.
they drafted Marquez Van Scouting.
He wasn't
Valdez,
it, dude. You have Devontae Adams. Like MVS should have been able to get open. Now, in all
He
fairness,
did. How do you know?
he didn't fucking throw to him. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it was more all on him. I also don't think MVS is gonna be. I mean, in Kansas City, he might be great because he's fast as shit. So like,
That's what I'm
Mahomes
saying,
just has
dude.
to throw
Like,
it in the air,
yeah,
But
it's gonna
I mean,
be
we shall see.
it's gonna be interesting, and I don't know. I feel like the draft is like you can identify great talent, dude, but you can never identify injuries because that's a thing that happens. That's freak injuries, and you never can identify there's no science to identifying how a person is going to do once he gets drafted. Like, is he going to work hard? You know, you can ask, or that too, but I mean, you can ask a million questions, dude, because anyone that's ever hired anybody, like when you're interviewing someone, they want that job, dude. They're going to give you every answer you want to hear. You know what I mean?
Of course. It's like any interview any of us have ever been in, you know what I'm saying? Like anyone listening or watching, or you or I, like you go into the interview and like, yes, you have your like answers for like the questions you think they're going to have, but you're also thinking like, what do they want me to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No one's
like,
going to.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So it's like, it's hard to identify. And if there was a perfect science to it, like,
then every team would be good.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. It's definitely crazy. But let's hop into some other news that could affect the draft, really. And that's these rumors about Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf. Both could very well be on the move. Both aren't. Well, there's no news about DK Metcalf being unhappy. But really with the Seattle Seahawks is, do they want to pay DK Metcalf the money he's going to get while they're kind of rebuilding, you know what I mean? And then as far as Deebo Samuel is concerned, like he wants a new contract. The Niners are kind of like, nah, you're going to play out your contract is what I'm getting from what's going on. Right. So that Deebo Samuel could be on the trade block. And then all this kind of comes into full circle because Stephon Diggs gets this massive contract. So we're seeing wide receivers really make a ton of money this offseason. We're seeing Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, now Stephon Diggs. So all these other wide receivers are like, well, hey, what about me, dude? You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on kind of what's going on with these wide receivers, and how do you see the Deebo and DK Metcalf situations playing out, Eddie?
So I think the wide receivers, it's about time, in my opinion, that they got paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always pay the quarterbacks all this money, you pay a left tackle or whatever, but the quarterback's got to throw to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's good that they're getting paid, but at the same time, you can't pay a top. We talked about this last week. You can't pay a top fucking quarterback and a top receiver. So like these trades and things are going to happen right now with Deebo and DK. Out of the two, I think DK is the one who actually gets moved of anything. But I could even see Tyler Lockett getting traded before DK, but that's neither here nor there. But
I don't think Lockett could get much in return though, because he's like
not as much because he's getting older, you know. But I think DK is the one who does get moved because there's teams out there that can pay him. Like I could see him going to the Colts, for example. You know, the Colts still have their draft picks. They never gave up a first round pick, so you can still send that back in return, and they can give him the extension because they got tons of money, right? Deebo, I don't think gets moved, and I think the only way that Deebo, like I would see him holding out more than I see him playing, but I don't think he misses a game though, in all fairness, because like that's dumb on him if he misses games.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like he's got to play because his stock's high. But with Deebo, it makes sense, dude. Like that offense, him. He is the offense. Like without Deebo last year, they're not in the AFC.
Yeah, NFC but at the same time, it's like they also didn't win because of Deebo, because they don't have a wide receiver that can actually run every route. Like Debo's not that kind of wide receiver, dude. And I think the problem is like
they don't make it without him though.
Maybe. I mean, Ayuk stepped up pretty much, and Ayuk's basically a younger version of Deebo. Like they're the same kind of wide receiver. And that's why honestly I could see the Niners trading for Deebo. I just don't see a team giving up what the Niners would want for Deebo, because I think they think the same way that I do, is like, yeah, he's a cool weapon. Like you could line him up at running back and stuff, but like he can't run every route. So I want him to play wide receiver. I don't want him to play running back. Like, yeah, I'll take him playing a couple plays in the backfield, but like you saw him at the end of the playoffs last year, that dude was beat up like a motherfucker because they kept fucking running him. Like, I don't want.
Well, yeah, I think they ran him way too much, to be honest, because that's really all they had. You know what I mean? Offensively, like when things went rough for him, they just ran the ball with Deebo. Like that was their game plan, right? I don't think you can. I agree. I don't think you can run him as much as they did last year, but
he's also not that dope of a wide receiver. Like, yeah, he's great yards after catch, dude. But it's like, I need a wide receiver that can run every route. Like that's the guy I want to pay top wide receiver money. Like look at these Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, like even Tyreek Hill. Like, these are all guys getting top money, and they can run every route I need them to run. Like, Debo's not that guy. Like, I can't send Debo on a go route, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but Debo's young, isn't he? Isn't he only like 26, something like that?
yeah, no, he's young. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I wouldn't pay him because he can't run. He's not a number one wide receiver. Like, he's a gadget. And he has his place, dude. I'm not saying that he's not as valuable. I just don't think I would pay that kind of guy $20+ million, which is what all these other guys are getting paid.
Like, I wouldn't pay Debo right now either because he's a one-trick pony at the moment. Right?
That's what I'm
He's only
saying.
done it
Yeah.
really 1 year.
Yeah.
He's only done it 1 year. Like, that's why I'm saying he can't like sit out, even though I feel like that's like what he might think of doing, but he can't do that because he's got to show that he can do it again. And like you mentioned, Ayuk, and like there's a ton of weapons on that Niners team. So, I think they would still be all right without Debo because, like you said, Ayuk, Kittle, and they have their million. Like, they just always have a running back that can play well.
They
It doesn't
do.
really matter what his name is. You know what I mean? Like, he just is good.
Yep.
So, I mean, with Debo, like me personally, like if I don't know, a team that's just needs a player, like it needs a receiver, right? Like I'm trying to think of somewhere that he can go. Let's say, shit, I don't know. Dude.
But that's what I'm
Just
saying.
anywhere
Like,
that he's a
what
receiver,
team
like,
is
I
going
would
to
take him?
Yeah, what are you trading for him?
Yeah, like, am I giving a first rounder for Debo? Nah, because then you have to pay him still on top of that.
Exactly.
I agree. Like, I would, if I had the option of DK or Debo, I'd take DK. 100%.
I would too.
100%. And like, again, going back to the Colts, and I keep bringing them up because they have the talent and the money to like actually make a run.
Well, actually, if I'm the Colts, I would trade for Debo. I just wouldn't give up a first rounder because I think because they have
you got
Pittman.
Jonathan Taylor out there though. You got to give Jonathan Taylor the ball like 25 times.
Right, but you can still like the effect of Debo because you don't know if he's going to get it on a jet sweep. You don't know if he's going to run a fucking slant route or a 5-yard in because those are like the two routes he runs. Like, he could still do those multiple kind of things. Plus, you have Michael Pittman who can take the top off and kind of take some pressure off of him. Or on the flip side, Debo could get even more kind of attention, which would open up Michael Pittman, who's probably arguably, I mean, the better actual route runner, wide receiver type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just think the Colts need something for Matt Ryan because you can't just hand it off to Jonathan Taylor every fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna burn that dude out, and we all see what happens to running backs. Well, yeah, but that's
it. Nice
so,
last
like,
year
what?
as a rookie.
Then what?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Debo fits that team, but I don't know if I would give up a first round pick. But if you put DK,
for the Colts, fuck yeah, I would.
I don't know. That's a lot
for the Colts though, because like they got Matt Ryan, dude. How many more years
draft
Matt Ryan?
I think the Colts can draft a dope ass wide receiver this year. Like,
Yeah,
what if
Drake
London falls to him? Drake London is ready to go, dog. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but it's still like it's tough with the rookie wide receiver. Not everyone's going to be Justin
all
Jefferson.
These rookies. We got all these rookies balling out every year, Eddie.
You get one a year.
Nah, more than that.
Okay, well,
Jamar Chase balled out this year. Devontae Smith played well. Jalen Waddle played well.
Yeah, I mean, they played fine. Like
Devontae Smith was nice as hell. So was Waddle. Even Tomey was pretty good for the Giants, but I mean, he has Daniel Jones throwing the ball.
Yeah,
dude,
and he's fucking hurt all the time because Daniel Jones is overthrown him. But like, even still, dude, like I feel like the culture in that win now mode, dude. And again, for them,
I agree,
like, maybe Debo, but DK. I mean, either one. The only thing with DK is like he disappeared at the end of the last year too.
Because Russell wasn't throwing him the ball.
Yeah,
he was wide open.
It doesn't make sense, but
he was wide open, dog. He was wide open on a lot of those, and Russ just wasn't throwing him the ball. And like, that's honestly, that shows more of DK than anything because he never said a word about it, dude. He was just like, I just gotta keep playing, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened between them. I kind of feel like Russell Wilson fell into a pattern like Aaron Rodgers has recently, where it's like he'd rather hold on to the ball and throw it away than throw an interception and try to make a play. You know what I mean? To try and like not turn the ball over, because turnovers are a nasty thing. And
you gotta have the ball right. But I feel like Russell Wilson though is one of those like he thinks he can make a better play with his legs, move running around, and then throw it downfield. So he doesn't just run the actual play.
Yeah.
He falls like he's like Patrick Mahomes, like except for Patrick Mahomes has more discipline to go back to running the fucking plays, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know why the Chiefs don't run the ball ever, but
Andy Reid doesn't run the fucking ball, dude. Like he hates it. He despises it.
he's got to get used to it because they lost the game because they refused to run the ball, not because they couldn't run the ball, because
Yeah,
they
they always
refused.
refuse. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's I don't know. I can't. Andy Reid's a great coach, and he's hella frustrating all at the same time.
All at the same time, man. All right. Anything else NFL you wanna
I
discuss?
just want to bring up. You see that Terry McLaurin's like, I want out. You fucking brought me Carson Wentz. I'm done. I'm out of here.
He said
Fuck this
that.
place. Yeah, I mean, he requested or is requesting trades. Not saying he's gonna get it, but it was like 3 days after fucking Carson Wentz gets there. He's like, yeah, I'd be okay with moving.
No way. He said that.
Yeah, like fucking, she's on the trade block. Now, I mean, I don't know if
Uh,
he's on the trade block. I don't think the Commanders are gonna actually trade him.
yeah, no, I don't think
But
they're gonna
like,
trade him, dude.
no, they're not gonna trade him. But he's made it known that like he's not happy. But again, like I think all this like receiver nonsense that's happening is just because of the deals that these guys are getting, and now they all
Yeah,
just want to be paid.
yeah. They're all like, "Yo, I want that money too."
Right. And each one just gets more. So it's like, Devontae Adams gets this record breaking. Now he's the third highest paid receiver in the league, and it's only been a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Bro, it's crazy. Man, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but you got guys like Colin Cowherd who be like talking about wide receiver is no longer just a like a nice to have position. It's like a must have position.
It's true.
Well, I think it benefits, but I don't think it's necessarily like must have.
Well, I mean, let's look at like the Super Bowl
Brady won
winning
Super
team.
Bowls with fucking with
That was a different game. He had Julian Edelman though.
I mean
I mean, he
yeah,
was
but
still
like what
catching for like 1,300 yards those years.
yeah, but he's run like
And yeah,
bubble screen.
Gronk. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Gronk is like a game changer.
That's like a
That's true.
different breed of animal. You know what I'm saying? Like greatest tight end to ever play the game.
Well, I mean, is tight end still that valuable?
Well, I mean, if you have one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's like, in my opinion, there's like 5 tight ends in the league are one of those guys. That's like Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, Pitts, and Waller, right? Like those are those guys.
What
They're
about Noah
different.
Fant?
Well, I would like to see Noah Fant do. I mean, he kind of disappeared in the Broncos offense. Was that him? Was that the Broncos offense? I mean, it was Teddy Bridgewater throwing the ball. I mean, I think Fant can be a guy. I just want to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he's got the skill set. You know what I mean?
No, he definitely does. Like, he was drafted in the first round. What about Hawkinson too? Hawkinson on Detroit, like that's another guy.
Right. Like I would think they need to have like, I don't know. They just need to have like that one, like that big year. Cause like, and in fairness too, Hawkinson had Stafford for a couple of years, but like
Well, for one, I think in 1 year, right?
1 year. Yeah. Just 1 year, you know what I mean? And he was a rookie too.
Well, it might
So
have been 2 years.
kind of learning the league. And then he got stuck with Jared Goff. And it's like, well, good luck.
Well, he still he had a decent year, but he got hurt. That's what.
Yeah.
hurt
Yeah.
him.
Gotta stay healthy.
All right, let's hop into these last two USFL teams real quick, Eddie. So we're on the last week of our USFL preview. And the last two teams we have are Donald Trump's former team in the New Jersey Generals. Shout out to the New Jersey Generals. They're coached by Mike Riley, former coach of Oregon State.
Okay.
Good coach too, by the way. He was good at he was good in college and also coached Nebraska. But really, Oregon State was like the best team he coached. And then we also have who else do we have here today? We got the Houston Gamblers with the best name, dude. Or no.
No, we did the Gamblers.
We did the Gamblers.
Already.
I'm sorry, Tampa Bay Bandits, dude.
Right.
Tampa Bay Bandits head coach Todd Haley. You know Todd Haley well.
Todd Haley, I like that. That'd be a good offensive coordinator, good offensive mind.
Yeah, so of both these teams, let's start with the New Jersey Generals. Do you have any thoughts on these two teams here?
Again, dude, just not a lot of players I've fucking heard of, to be 100% honest with you. Not a lot of NFL experience. Some practice squad guys, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
good, well coached. I think the thing that we're learning from us breaking down these rosters is that like we're going to be going based off the coach, because that's what kind of style these guys are going to be playing. So this is an Oregon based style. We all know it's
Oregon
like five
State.
wide.
Oregon State.
Oregon State. Oh, excuse me. So then
He likes to
like,
run the ball.
Yeah, run the ball. That's going to be the opposite of what I was about to say. So I was wrong. Um, but yeah, so like you can get an idea of what they're going to be, right?
Yeah.
So I think what we should really like, yes, we can we're not really breaking down like the players as much, because we don't, again, not a lot of experience like talking
Right.
about these guys, but this is all going to benefit us when it comes to week 1.
Yep.
And we start making our bets, right? Because we
Yep.
can look at this team, and this is probably going to be a low scoring ground and pound, try to fucking run the clock out, win with defense and a good running game. I think we can expect that. So keep that in mind when we're looking at over unders and like point differentials. I think that will benefit us.
I mean, I would probably lean every under available
probably
the first week, dude.
Right. I would agree. Let's get it. So
unless they set them like super low, like I'm talking
like fucking
22
and a half.
21 and a half, 22 and a half, then I would probably fucking take overs. But
Yeah.
no, I definitely agree with that. Obviously New Jersey's gonna want to run the ball. Their starting quarterback Luis Perez, I mean, he's a dude that played like, I don't even know where he played at. Where did he play? Texas A&M Commerce, dude. I've never even heard of that conference, but he's been on practice squads for NFL teams. So like he does have some kind of experience. He played for the Birmingham Iron and AAF.
I think he was in the USFL the last time.
No, he wasn't in
USFL.
USFL last time was
he was in the XFL.
Yeah, he was part of the New York Guardians. He was one of the first quarterbacks actually taken, dude. So
I mean, if he's playing the XFL, like that's like some kind of professional experience, right? Like, yes, it's not the NFL or anything, but the XFL before like COVID hit was actually turning into something, I thought.
Yeah, he threw for 62%, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he wasn't terrible, dude.
Right.
Pretty decent numbers. He's only 27 years old.
Yeah.
6'3", so he could be decent, right?
He won a Division II national title.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that. He's a decent player. He's probably actually one of the better quarterbacks in this draft, other than Paxton.
He's probably
Lynch.
got one of the best fucking resumes actually we've seen,
except for Paxton Lynch. Yeah. But he so yeah, that's that team. What's their odds, dude? What's their odds?
I think they were in that 600 range. I think.
Yeah, that'd be about right. I probably have them like 3rd or 4th right now of the teams we've looked at. Mm-hmm. Where are they at? Damn, they're plus 700. So they're
like the worst.
3rd worst, dude.
Right.
That's crazy. But this next team, Tampa Bay, they're 2nd best odds, plus 500. Them and another team lay 100, win 500. And yeah, a big part of that is probably because of the coach. Todd Haley is their head coach. Their starting quarterback is Jordan Tamu.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Ole Miss. He was decent in college, so they got a decent team. You know, if you got a quarterback that's played D1 and played at a high level program, plus you got Todd Haley. What's your thoughts on this team?
So they actually have a player that I fucking know, and BJ Emmons, their running back. He was actually with the Raiders last year in preseason, and I thought he was actually going to make the roster. Like there was legitimate talk that they were going to cut Jalen Richard to keep him with the squad, but essentially they went with Jalen Richard at the end. But he's nice, dude. Like he's a smaller running back, quick, catch passes out of the backfield. And in the Todd Haley system, we know that's something that they fucking like to do, right? Especially when he was with Pittsburgh. You know, he had all those years with Roethlisberger dumping it off to all their running backs they had there. Le'Veon Bell and I forget the other one that was there. He was with like Carolina, then went there.
Yep.
Oh, what's his name? That's going to annoy me that I
They
can't
also
remember.
have
But
John
anyway,
Franklin the third.
yeah, like I feel like this is a good team. Like this is actually a team that I want to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, John
them
Franklin the
being,
third. Did you ever watch Last Chance U on Netflix?
I did. Yeah. I thought the name sounded familiar. I couldn't remember where it was from.
He was on that team, so he was actually like a wide receiver, but then he played like scout team quarterback. And then he transferred to East Mississippi as quarterback, and then he went to Auburn as a quarterback. And then he transferred to FAU to play for Lane Kiffin, but Lane Kiffin kind of moved him all around the field. So now he's
Right.
playing wide receiver for this team.
Okay. I mean, yeah, this is a team that I'm looking to watch, dude. Like, this will be a game that I turn on of all the games that we'll be getting this weekend, like 100%, or not this weekend, sorry, next weekend. Um, Definitely will be keeping an eye here. Like, it's just a team that, again, I know a couple players, I know the coach, I know what I
Right.
should be expecting when I watch the game, which is kind of like the nice thing. So, again, for betting wise, this should help in the bets because I kind of have an idea of what the team will actually look like. Now, can they complete plays? Who fucking knows? You know what I mean? We won't know until we actually watch them, but at least I'll know what I should expect to see.
Yeah. Nah. This should be. This is actually one of the teams I think that actually has a chance of winning it all. With the coach, and they have way more players that I recognize in any other team except for Michigan. So I probably pick Michigan and this team as my two favorites at this point.
Are they in the same division? They are in the same division.
Yeah, and Obi Melifonwu.
Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Sorry.
Hey, Eddie, Obi Melifonwu is also on Tampa Bay. Remember him? The Raiders took him in the second round of the 2017 draft.
Yeah. Well, if the Raiders took him, it probably didn't fucking work out, dude.
Well, no, a lot of people in the draft thought he was going to be like, they were like, yo, he's going to be hella good. But he couldn't stay healthy, and
right.
It was just...
yeah, a lot of these players too, man. Like, it's just injury concerns, right? So you just hope that they can get a chance. Like, I feel like this is definitely like that second chance league. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So, yeah. I mean... Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, dude. Like, it's just, I mean, at the end of the day, it's football, first off, and we all know that we love football. You know what I'm saying? Got to have football as much as humanly possible. So we get that football on the weekends. It's something to bet on. You know what I mean? And then again, this could be a league that you can figure out easier because there'll be way more, like, there could be a huge discrepancy in these teams. We could have 3 teams that are just the cream of the crop, and then the rest stink. So you just ride those 3, and maybe you can make some easy cash to set up your bankroll for the NFL season to come back around.
That's facts, man. That's what we out here doing. That's what we're trying to do. Next week, we're going to be breaking down the first week of USFL games. We're going to be getting ready for the NFL draft as well. Like I said, April 21st, we're going to have Chris Ransom on from NFL Draft Utopia. He's a draft guru. You're definitely going to want to tune into that. That'll be a very knowledgeable show as we head into the NFL draft. Make sure to catch myself on Taproom Sports Podcast every Sunday night. We got a big show coming up. And on In the Game every Tuesday night. I have a special guest, Jason Maples from Temple of Hoop, coming on Tuesday night. That's going to be a fun one. And then we got TSP Wagers every Wednesday night. And we got baseball back. MLB went 3-1 today on our best bets.
Nice.
So I had a great day today. Gonna want to tap in with that. Make sure to follow Raider Eddie at Eddie TSP. You can follow me on Twitter at Jordan Rules TSP. You can hit up the whole podcast on Instagram at Taproom Sports Podcast, taproomsportspodcast.com as well. We're on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere you can fucking imagine. Catch us live. Hit us up. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week for another episode of APR. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the Masters. Enjoy all the sports. UFC this weekend. Oh my God.